Welcome to another interesting Bible story. In this story, we shall be looking at the early life of Solomon, David's son, as the king of Israel. But before that, we sincerely thank you all, our dear esteemed subscribers and viewers, for all your contributions to this channel. We don't take those contributions for granted at all. They are very valuable to us. We also ask those who have not yet subscribed to, please consider doing so, in order to encourage us. Thank you very much. Let's proceed to the story. Long ago, in the land of Israel, a young king had just taken the throne. His name was Solomon, the son of King David. Though he was young, the weight of leading a great nation rested on his shoulders. The people looked to him for justice, wisdom, and guidance. Solomon walked through the palace courtyard at dawn, hands clasped behind his back, deep in thought. Solomon loved God and wanted to lead well, but he knew the task ahead was far greater than his own strength. One night, he traveled to Gibeon, where a special place of worship stood, to seek God's help. It was a starry night there at Gibeon. Solomon stood before a large altar, offering sacrifices. The flames flickered as he prayed quietly. After offering his sacrifices, Solomon lay down to rest. And in the quiet of the night, God appeared to him in a dream and said to him,
"Ask for whatever you want me to give you."
Solomon rose to his knees in the dream, eyes wide with awe, and responded saying,
"My Lord, you have been so kind to my father David, and now you have made me king in his place. But I am only a young man and do not know how to lead. Please give me a heart of wisdom so I can govern your people well and know right from wrong."
God was pleased with Solomon's humble request, and thus replied to him, saying,
"Since you have asked for wisdom, not for long life, riches, or the death of your enemies, I will give you what you asked for, a wise and understanding heart, like no one before you and no one after you. And because you did not ask selfishly, I will also give you wealth and honor. If you follow my ways, I will give you a long life."
The dream faded. Morning light filled Solomon's room. Solomon woke up, his face bright with wonder. He hurried to Jerusalem, stood before the Ark of the Covenant, and offered sacrifices of thanksgiving. Soon after, Solomon's wisdom was put to the test in a most unusual way. In a royal courtroom, two women were brought before the young king, each holding out her hands desperately. The first woman complained, saying,
"My lord, this woman and I live in the same house. I gave birth to a son, and 3 days later she also gave birth. One night, her baby died. She took my living child while I was asleep and laid her dead baby beside me."
The second woman retorted, saying,
"That's not true. The living baby is mine, and the dead one is hers."
The first woman opposed, saying,
"No, the living child is mine."
Both women shouted, pointing fingers at each other. The room grew tense. No witnesses, no evidence, only their words. Everyone watched Solomon closely. What would he do? Solomon raised his hand for silence and said,
"Bring me a sword."
The guards exchanged puzzled looks but obeyed. A sword gleamed in the king's hand as he commanded.
"Cut the living child in two. Give half to one woman and half to the other."
Gasps rippled through the court. The first woman cried out,
"No, my lord. Please, give her the baby. Just don't kill him."
Surprisingly, the second woman simply said,
"Neither of us shall have him. Divide him."
In that moment, Solomon knew who the true mother was, so he passed his judgment, saying,
"Give the living child to the first woman. Do not harm him. She is the mother."
The baby was returned safely to his real mother, who clutched him with tears of joy. When the people of Israel heard what their king had done, they were amazed. They saw that God had given Solomon true wisdom to bring justice and peace. The crowd bowed respectfully as Solomon stepped down from the throne, with a humble smile on his face. This story teaches us the power of a humble heart that seeks wisdom over riches or power. When we ask God to guide us, He can give us the understanding we need to make the right choices, even in the hardest moments. So, what would you ask for if God gave you one wish? Wisdom to lead well? Patience to guide your family? Courage to do what's right? Solomon's story reminds us, a wise heart is the greatest treasure of all. Now, God had blessed Solomon with wisdom, peace, and a vision to do something his father longed for, to build a magnificent temple for the Lord. One day, as the golden morning sun rose over Jerusalem, workers moved through the busy city. Solomon stood on a balcony overlooking the land. At this time, Israel was at peace with its neighbors, and among those neighbors was a powerful ally, Hiram, king of Tyre, known for his skilled builders and the best cedar trees from the mountains of Lebanon. Inside Solomon's royal court, messengers stood ready as Solomon spoke with determination, saying,
Send this message to King Hiram. My father David could not build a temple for the name of the Lord because of the wars around him. But now the Lord has given me peace. I will build a temple for his name, just as he promised my father.
The messengers bowed and left swiftly. The message traveled north, across the hills, to the land of Tyre. In Hiram's palace in Tyre, the king read the message and smiled warmly and said,
Praise be to the Lord today, for he has given David a wise son to rule this great nation. Tell Solomon, I will help him. My men will cut down the finest cedar and cypress trees from Lebanon, and we will float them by sea to wherever he desires.
Hiram rolled the scroll, sealing it with his signet ring, and gave it to his messengers. Back in Jerusalem, Solomon received Hiram's reply with joy, saying,
Excellent! Let's agree on fair wages for your workers, and in return, I will supply food for your household.
And so, a great partnership was formed. Solomon supplied vast amounts of wheat and olive oil to Hiram's people, and Hiram sent skilled workers and materials. In compliance with the partnership, tens of thousands of workers went to work, cutting stones, loading cedar logs, carrying tools. Solomon walked among them, giving directions with confidence. Solomon organized a massive workforce, 30,000 men for labor, 70,000 carriers, and 80,000 stonecutters. Master builders shaped stones and timbers for the temple. Step by step, the dream of a house for God was coming to life. Solomon stood at the construction site, looking over the prepared stones and timber with a satisfied but humble smile. Through wise planning, peace, and friendship, Solomon laid the foundation for one of the greatest structures ever built, the temple of the Lord. Workers bowed their heads as the sun set over the worksite. This story reminds us that great things are built not only with skill, but with wisdom, cooperation, and peace. Sometimes, the best achievements come when we work together, honor God, and build with patience. What are you building in your life? Like Solomon, you can start with peace, seek wise partnerships, and use your gifts to honor God and bless others. It is at this juncture that we draw the curtain on today's story. Please check back for more inspiring Bible stories. Thank you very much for watching, and do have a lovely day. Bye for now. You are once again highly welcome to another inspiring Bible story. We shall be looking at more of King Solomon's exploits and wisdom as the King of Israel. Our sincere appreciations go to all of you, our subscribers and viewers. Your contributions and engagements have sustained us this far, and we are grateful to you for that. For those who have not yet subscribed, please do well to do so in order to encourage us. Thank you all very much. Let's go. After many years of planning and building, the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem was finally complete. King Solomon, son of David, had built this magnificent house for God, a place where the people could worship, pray, and bring their offerings. Today was a special day, the day of dedication. King Solomon stood near the temple entrance, surrounded by priests, elders, and Israelites from all over the land. Priests carried the Ark of the Covenant, covered with cloth, toward the inner sanctuary. The crowd watched in silence. First, the priests carried the Ark of the Covenant, the sacred chest holding the tablets of the Ten Commandments, into the most holy place. It was a moment of deep reverence. As they set the Ark in place, a thick cloud filled the temple so much that a priest whispered,
"Look! The glory of the Lord fills the house."
Priests stepped back, shielding their faces as the cloud grew brighter. Solomon stepped forward, raising his hands to speak, and he said,
Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel. He has kept his promise to my father David, that his son would build a house for his name. Today, that promise has come true.
He turned to face the altar, then raised his hands toward heaven. With everyone watching, Solomon prayed aloud, speaking from his heart, saying,
O Lord, God of Israel, there is no God like you in heaven or on earth. You keep your promises and show unfailing love. But will God really dwell on earth? Even the highest heavens cannot contain you. Yet, Lord, hear our prayers in this house. When anyone prays toward this temple, whether they are near or far away, hear them from heaven. Forgive their sins and teach them to walk in your ways.
He paused, lowering his hands as the people bowed their heads. Solomon turned again to the crowd, his voice warm and steady.
May the Lord our God be with us, as he was with our ancestors. May he never leave us nor forsake us. Let our hearts always be fully committed to him, to walk in his ways and keep his commands.
The people nodded and lifted their hands in agreement. Solomon and all Israel offered sacrifices to the Lord, so many that they could not be counted. The day turned into a great feast, with music, dancing, and rejoicing in the streets of Jerusalem. It was a time of joy and thanksgiving. As night fell, the temple stood glowing under the stars. The crowd began to depart with joyful hearts. For 7 days they celebrated, and then the people returned to their homes, glad and full of joy for all the good things the Lord had done for his people. Solomon stood at the temple steps, watching them leave with a peaceful smile. This story reminds us, God is faithful to his promises. When we set aside a place for him in our lives, whether it's a building, a moment of prayer, or the way we live, his presence brings peace, joy, and blessing. Solomon stood near its grand steps, watching people leaving after worship. It had been some time since the grand dedication of the temple. King Solomon had built not only the house of God, but also his own royal palace. The land was at peace, and the people were prospering. One night, something extraordinary happened once again. God appeared to Solomon. Solomon was seated alone, reflecting quietly. The room filled with a warm, radiant light. Solomon stood, shielding his face as the voice of the Lord spoke.
Solomon, I have heard your prayer and the dedication you offered for this temple. I have made this house holy. My name will be here forever, and my eyes and heart will always be there.
Solomon bowed deeply, listening intently, as the Lord continued speaking, saying,
As for you, if you walk before me faithfully, as your father David did, with integrity and uprightness, then I will establish your royal throne over Israel forever. But if you or your people turn away, worshipping other gods and serving them, then I will cut Israel off from this land. This temple though beautiful now, will become a heap of ruins. And the nations will ask, why has the Lord done this to this land and this house?
The light slowly faded as the vision ended. Solomon remained kneeling, deep in thought. The next morning, Solomon stood at the palace balcony overlooking the city. Solomon remembered the words of the Lord, words of both promise and warning. He understood that his choices and the choices of the people would shape their future. Solomon called for his advisors and leaders to gather, and he said to them,
My brothers, we must walk faithfully before the Lord. This temple is not just a building, it is a reminder that God is with us when we follow his ways.
The elders nodded in agreement, some placing hands over their hearts. Work was always in progress. To further develop the country, fortified cities being built, storehouses stocked, and ships being prepared for trade. In the years that followed, Solomon strengthened Israel. He rebuilt important cities, organized labor forces, and formed alliances with neighboring nations. His wisdom brought wealth and influence, but the Lord's message remained in his heart. Faithfulness was the key to lasting blessing. Families were seen walking home, children laughing, merchants closing their stalls, indicating a flourishing economy. The story of this moment teaches us something important. Success is a gift, but it comes with responsibility. God desires our hearts more than our achievements. When we follow his ways, our lives become a blessing, not just for us, but for those around us. Solomon looked up at the temple one last time, the glow of the evening sky reflecting in his thoughtful eyes. Will we walk faithfully, even when life feels secure and comfortable? That was Solomon's challenge, and it is ours too. Jerusalem was indeed bustling with activity. Traders, musicians, and citizens filled the streets. The temple and Solomon's palace stood tall in the background. King Solomon's fame had spread far beyond the borders of Israel. Stories of his wisdom, wealth, and the great temple he built for the Lord were told in every kingdom. One day, a powerful queen from a distant land heard these stories, the Queen of Sheba, and she decided to see for herself. So, she took the pains to come all the way to Jerusalem. The gates of Jerusalem opened. The queen entered with her servants and gifts, gold, spices, and precious stones. Solomon came out to greet her. Queen of Sheba, smiling, said,
King Solomon, I have heard of your great wisdom and the glory of your kingdom, and I came to see with my own eyes whether it is true.
Solomon, bowing slightly, responded saying,
Welcome, Queen of Sheba. You honor us with your visit. Ask whatever is on your heart.
They walked into the palace. The queen sat on a grand chair opposite Solomon, her attendants beside her. She began to ask questions, one after another. She asked him many hard questions about life, justice, the ways of God, and the mysteries of the world. Solomon answered every one with clarity and insight, and nothing was too difficult for him. Queen of Sheba was very amazed and said to Solomon,
Your wisdom and wealth are even greater than I was told. I did not believe the reports until I came and saw it with my own eyes. Truly, the Lord your God has placed you on this throne to uphold justice and righteousness.
The queen gestured, and her servants brought forward large chests filled with gold, spices, and precious stow. She gave Solomon a royal gift, gold, rare spices, and jewels, more than had ever been brought to Israel at one time. Solomon also presented gifts to her, fine wood, silver, and garments, saying to her, May your journey home be blessed. May the Lord give you peace in your land.
Crowds of people often gathered at the palace to seek counsel from King Solomon due to his wisdom.
Year after year, the wealth of nations flowed into Jerusalem. Kings and travelers brought treasures, seeking Solomon's counsel and blessings from the God he served. The Queen of Sheba departed with her caravan, smiling and waving as the city faded behind her. The queen returned to her country filled with wonder. Carrying more than treasures, she carried wisdom about the true God of Israel. This story reminds us, wisdom and blessings are not meant to be hidden. When we live with integrity and honor God, others are drawn to see His goodness in our lives. Like Solomon, we can be a light that points others to Him. Dear viewers, we wish to draw the curtain at this point. We thank you very much for being here and watching this story. Please check back for more inspiring Bible story. Do have a very nice day, and bye for now.